Modern megalopolises are changing in a quite noticeable way. Some are aging and fading, others are being transformed, becoming cozy, beautiful and comfortable for people. Almaty, a city with a centuries-old history, enjoys a new lease of life. Pedestrian streets with multifunctional public areas, new fountains, parks and gardens appeared in the city. Fanciful architectural forms and floral arrangements give a special charm to the city. Schneiderman, a landscape architect, is one of those who creates a new look for Kazakhstani cities. For almost 7 years, he worked in Israel, where he gained extensive professional experience. Schneiderman has been living in Kazakhstan since 2005. You are an architect by trade. I know that you were engaged in a renovation project in Almaty. You landscaped some parts of the city. What are the projects you are proud of in terms of landscaping our streets, avenues, parks or squares? Have you managed to introduce something new?
Я думаю, что один из таких наших объектов, о которых мы
All projects are interesting in their own way. One of the last projects is renovation of Panfilov Street, one of our favorites and surely worth being proud of. Almaty residents seemed to like it. In this project, the floral landscaping was the part of architecture. Our main goal was to create an interesting multifunctional public space which could unite people and force them to go into the streets. In the age of urbanization, people rarely walk in the streets. Most of them prefer to see the world through their windshields. There are times when people fail to notice the first spring greenery, ignoring the beauty which urban nature can give. The architect Schneiderman believes that a well-thought-out, harmonious, comfortable, green public space is designed to bring people together, return them joy of human contacts. This is very important for a healthy society. Children should see an older generation. They should have an opportunity to ask them some questions. This is possible when they are working together. We understood that people need a place where they can meet each other, communicate and go for a walk. As soon as you create a comfortable urban environment, it is immediately thronged with people. We walked along the renewed Almaty street. We were pleased with how harmoniously the green spaces fit into the architectural environment. After all, trees are not only the decoration of streets, they are the lungs of cities. See how carefully this tree was covered. It is a wooden casing. Stretch ropes will prevent the tree from falling. It is a high-bole tree. This reed mat protects the tree from temperature fluctuations. On top of all this, there is a burlap. That's how people should take care of trees in big modern cities. There are hundreds of urban improvement projects throughout Kazakhstan in Schneiderman's portfolio. By changing the look of our cities, architects are changing the minds of the people. Panfilov Street is a successful example of cooperation between urbanistics, people and nature in a big city. This is the result of great teamwork of talented sculptors, architects and designers. Now we shall relocate to the most unusual nursery garden in Kazakhstan with the most peculiar greenhouse. In 2015, Schneiderman launched a new project. A modern greenhouse complex was built 10 kilometers away from Almaty. This is where they grow greens and spicy herbs. We are used to growing dill, parsley and onion beneath our windows, near country houses or on farms. But this is seasonal and cannot be done in early spring or late autumn, especially not in winter. These large industrial enterprises compensate for this drawback. Probably this is a greenhouse of the future. This is a unique greenhouse complex for growing fresh greens in pots. It is the only one of its kind in Kazakhstan. The area of the complex is as big as a football field. It produces 60 tons of products per month or 3 million bunches of leafy vegetables per year. Housewives love greens. They love arugula, they love parsley, they love salads. How do you grow them? Tell us about the technology. Everything starts with sowing seeds. We sow about 12,000 seeds a day. The planting process is automated by means of a special machine. Then all this is placed in a germinating chamber. This is a special chamber with favorable conditions. Temperature 19 degrees Celsius, humidity 90% and darkness. Then it is kept inside for 3 to 4 days to obtain the highest germination percentage. Usually we achieve about 95 to 99% of germination. After that, plants are moved onto the line. First they are moved to the so-called children's section and are kept there for 2 weeks. It is important that the root system sprouts during this period. Then plants are moved to the conveyor line, the so-called adult line, and spent there about 30 days. Finally, we get a product, 150 to 170 grams of salad or 50 to 60 grams of greens. Specially treated seeds are laid in tiny pots with peat. They are placed in long pallets forming a huge plantation which continuously moves with the help of sophisticated machines. After 38 days, pallets with lettuce, arugula, spinach, chard and other fragrant greens moved from one end of the greenhouse to the finish line, not as seeds, but as lush, juicy and crispy bunches. Local residents call this unusual greenhouse a creeping bed. Here everything is moving. Seeds are sown over there in a few hundred meters, and in 38 days the finished product will arrive here. The plants receive all necessary nutrients from peat pots and clean water. Spinach, arugula, different salads are ready to be cut.
Салаты самые разнообразные. Готовы к срезке.
The capacity of the greenhouse complex allows to grow over 20 types of salads and greens. Rows of purple basil alternate with green salad, spinach and other herbs. A motley, lush plantation is reaching out the horizon.
Поехали!
Let's go! This is how the finished product is delivered to the place of its collection. An endless sea of different salads and greens is beneath us. It is impossible to describe this beauty and fragrance. It crunches when you eat it. This is very important. The entire system is running very easy. We are passing by one pallet, then the second one, the fifth, the 10th. Look at the variety of salads. There is Lola Rossa, arugula, spinach and even chard.
Здесь и Lola Rossa, здесь и руккола, и шпинат, и даже любимый всеми мангольд.
Salads in pots retain their quality and stay fresh for up to 14 days. One of the secrets is natural peat, organic fertilizers and artesian water from their own well. This is a high-tech method of growing plants without any soil, when they receive all required nutrients from the solution. It is the Scandinavian technology, and the equipment is Dutch, Swedish and Italian. We add some water to keep the plants hydrated and add a special material, agroperlite, that is, granules of a retaining water-neutral material. Agroperlite gives up moisture slowly, and when we send plants to retailers, they continue to live. So we actually sell a living product. Thanks to that, the plants stay fresh for a longer time. In this giant greenhouse, smart computers maintain proper humidity, open the blinds for ventilation, regulate the supply of fresh air, and maintain the temperature of plus 27 degrees Celsius during the day and plus 17 degrees Celsius at night for sleep. It turns out that plants also need rest at night. They grow only during the daytime. Ambient temperature, wind speed. You see all these indicators. A covering of snow on the roof of greenhouse. There are sensors that do not allow the snow to be on the roof in case of snowfall. In case it breaks the roof? Exactly. Thus, heat spreads over the upper level of the heating system, melting the snow on the roof. Where does the water flow once the snow melted? No, there are special gutters inside the greenhouse that are connected to a water tank. The climate parameters can be adjusted manually depending on weather conditions. Also, there are preliminary settings. An agronomist maintains the control over settings to be customized for each crop individually. A screen darkening strategy. There are two types of screens, a shadow screen and a power-saving one. As soon as the sun sets or there is a shadow, there is no need to keep the greenhouse open. Curtains are drawn everywhere and the heat retains inside. Everything in this greenhouse was thought out to detail, including light supply, ventilation, humidity, and even this bright yellow tape has a purpose. It attracts flies, aphids, any other pests. All the pests are getting stuck on it. Greens are an inexhaustible source of fibers, vitamins, and a large number of micronutrients. However, in Kazakhstan, people eat 2 or 3 bunches of leafy vegetables per year on average, while in Europe, people traditionally consume much more than that. Many kinds of greens are still unfamiliar to Kazakhstanis. In Kazakhstan, many people don't consume some greens, so we try to change their gastronomic habits by introducing new crops of greens to the market. For example, oak leaf lettuce is one of our favorite salads, the second in popularity in Europe. It is considered as one of the healthiest salads. We introduced it because no one grew or imported it to Kazakhstan, and therefore we grow it. It appears that you instill a taste for European culinary delights to Kazakhstanis, who are accustomed to traditional parsley, salad, onion, and dill. Yes, we do. This is a difficult task. It is a long-term and strategic goal, but we believe that it will bring very good results in the long run. I have taken an interesting mix out of the fridge. It is the mix of 3 lettuces which our housewives prefer. The famous Lola Rossa lettuce, Lola Bionda, and a new kind of salad which is very well known in Europe, but little known in Kazakhstan so far. This is the so-called oak leaf lettuce. We are used to buy one sort of greens like parsley, dill or arugula. Now we take 3 at once, 3 in 1. The greenhouse takes a lot of efforts and time. Nevertheless, Roman Schneiderman continues landscaping the cities of Kazakhstan. He is one of the developers of the Million Trees for Almaty program. What about your garden center? In our center, we plant wayside deciduous trees. For example, this is the Linden Alley. There are about 500 conifers, some fruit trees, and a platform to grow bushes. We engraft a lot of lavender, seasonal flowers, and other different plants. How old is this linden? It is about 10 to 12 years old. Linden trees grow slowly. The colors of the autumn garden are gradually fading. Seems that they are being covered by a veil of sadness in anticipation for winter. Trees and shrubs are preparing to survive in the coming cold. Will these plants hibernate in these containers? Won't their root system freeze? You can see that we are covering some plants. We'll strew some of them with bales of straw to make sure they don't freeze. That's it. They will survive the winter. Everything will be fine in spring. Roman Schneiderman has many different projects. All of them have a common goal to improve the life of Kazakhstanis, make it high quality, comfortable, consistent with the spirit of time. Many people and some of my colleagues ask, what is the link between the landscape architecture, urbanistics and lattice? They believe these businesses are different. Usually I answer that, in my opinion, they are rather close. By designing parks, public spaces, squares and streets, we are changing the quality of life of people in Kazakhstan. We make the living environment much more comfortable. In the same way, starting to grow lattice and making it available for most Kazakhstanis, we raise the standards of life.
Точно так же, начав выращивать салаты, да, и сделав их доступными для большинства казахстанцев, мы сделали качество их жизни гораздо выше.
In autumn, gardens have their own charm. Snow will fall soon and will cover the ground in the garden. But so far, all is ablaze with orange, purple, yellow, pink colors of withering nature. It's amazing that roses still bloom. There are winter-hardy varieties developed by Canadian and French breeders. They can be bred in the north of Kazakhstan. Now we are in the plant nursery of Vladimir Beloborodko. I'm familiar with this plant. The smell is fragrant. This plant looks familiar. Such pleasant fragrance. What is it? I don't recognize it. Tens of thousands of plants are required now for urban landscaping. They are planted in many cities of Kazakhstan. One of them is a woodland sage. It is grown almost everywhere, in every nursery. The woodland sage, because of its popularity, breeders, taking advantage of the current situation, created many varieties of sage. There is the dwarf sage, the sage with the long period of flowering and different colors. We see a white sage. All this is the work of breeders. It is autumn, and we don't see the beauty that was here 2 or 3 weeks ago. This is the diversity of species. We see very beautiful, long-blooming flower. This is an Anastasia, the variety called Blue Bear. This is a great plant. These are the remains of those plants of their flowering. It is one of the best autumn flowers, along with the New York aster, chrysanthemums and lavender. Lavender is extremely popular. Vladimir Beloborodko is a professional agronomist and expert in horticulture. He can talk about each plant for hours. Beloborodko has an amazing collection of rare plants in his nursery. There are Persian parotia or ironwood, sweet gums that bloom in November, common pawpaw with edible fruits, fringe trees, silver bell, and even a tulip tree. It is covered with flowers similar to tulips every spring. The plants are adornment and exotic. They were brought from overseas. What is this amazing plant in blossom? It bloomed in October and still blooms in November against the laws of nature. It is Hamamelis virginiana, or common witch hazel. It blooms beautifully in November and will continue to bloom at the temperature of -5 to 7 degrees to -10 degrees Celsius. Blooming is not all. It will set fruits that look like boxes with seeds inside. Virginian witch hazel blossoms in late autumn, and it is a rootstock for Hamamelis intermedia that blooms usually in February and March. They are next to each other because they have one root. Now I understand why this plant is a favorite tree of Vladimir Beloborodka, because it grows against the laws of nature. It starts blooming when snow is falling. Here is another piece of the amazing collection. It is a weeping tree or cercis. People call it as Judas tree. There are legends that Judas was crucified on a cercis, and after that they began to call it the Judas tree. Nobody knows is it true or not, but gardeners love this plant. This is a legume family. This is Canadian cercis. There is also Chinese cercis, which is less winter hardy. This is more winter hardy. It is its weeping form. Did you create a weeping form yourself? No, I didn't. It is natural. It was found by breeders and engrafted on a common one. It has the form of stem or body of tree. This is a grafted form. Very unusual blossom with pink flowers. It blossoms in early spring before the leaves are coming out like peach trees. It is very beautiful. People admire this unbelievable beauty. The winter hardiness of the plant is sufficient for Almaty, Shymkent and other southern regions. There are new samples of European plant selection in the nursery. For example, the weeping peach Chio-Chio-san. It is covered with huge double red flowers in spring and gives edible fruits in autumn. Winter-hardy varieties of rare plants are purchased for the city landscaping. Japanese cherry or sakura appeared recently in the south of Kazakhstan. You can enjoy their magic flowering in the spring in the central parks of Almaty. Several varieties of sakura are being adapted to local conditions in the Beloborodka's nursery. Here is a sort of small-flowered sakura in front of you. It is also called an atomic rose or atom rosea. It is quite winter-hardy and displays plentiful pink flowering in early spring. It looks like a hat of pink flowers. There are weeping forms, red-leaved forms of sakura. In front of us, we have a compact form. Vladimir Beloborodka is one of you horticulturists who imports to Kazakhstan new perspective species of apples, pears and plums which are resistant to various diseases, especially to the fire blight, which is considered the plague in the 20th century. There is no escape from this disease. Farmers of the Almaty region are financed by the state to uproot pear gardens affected by the fire blight. Are there any other popular varieties? There are more than 30 varieties of apple trees here. They have different ripening stages in early summer, in late summer, early autumn and late winter. What are the most popular varieties? Enterprise is the most popular variety due to its good storage and transportability. The Gold Rush apple variety can be stored for 9 months in a fridge. There are other varieties, but these are new ones. For example, Rewiener apple variety of German breeding produced a lot of fruits this year. Have these trees borne fruits this year? Yes, they have. Do you think these varieties can replace our traditional apples, for example, apport? There is no apples comparable to apport. Apport is our treasure. Amateur gardeners often come to the nursery. Some of them need an apple tree, others need a pear tree. Someone else wants a green lawn or chrysanthemums, which bloom in abundance in the nursery. Chrysanthemums are the first that people see entering the nursery. Only after that they pay attention to other plants. Mostly chrysanthemums, of course. More attention is paid to what is blooming. Roses and chrysanthemums are blooming now. Cornflower or echinacea is blooming, although it is a summer flower. We have several types of echinacea. In general, we have a very wide range of flowers. And what plants do you use for an alpine garden? Mainly, we use dwarf conifers and ground covers. Their blossoming is very beautiful. We have a very large variety of them: sedums, dwarf stone crops, and chrysanthemums. They are very small. Therefore, we have an abundance of them for alpine gardens.
Поэтому очень большое изобилие у нас для горок.
Preparations for winter are underway in hotbeds and greenhouses of the nursery. House plants and shrubs are mostly grown here. What are you planning to do here in the greenhouse? We prepare seeds, sow them. We definitely need seeds. If we don't sow seeds, we might be left without work next year. When snow falls, we root the cuttings, work on gramineous plants. Then in January or in February, we'll start stem grafting of acacias, lindens and elm trees.
Потом будем уже в феврале, январь-февраль начнем прививать. Уже на штамбе акации будем, липы будем, карагачи прививаем.
Elm trees. Why do you graft elm trees? There are different varieties of elm trees: spherical elm and weeping elm. We place them in containers with sawdust, water during the whole winter, remove the film when they take root. After that, when spring comes, we plant these trees in the field. We have a lot of work in winter time, including watering, weeding, etc. The last sunny days of the year are very busy. Gardeners need to prepare the trees for winter, prune, dig something up, and cover others until the first snow falls. Only conifers are careless. The slender rows of blue spruces, like in a parade, are ready for winter. Maples require a special care. These wonderful, tall, I would say perfect maples were planted yesterday, and they need abundant watering today. Rains are expected tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, but this is not enough. Because the soil is wetted by 3, maximum 5 centimeters, and it is crucial for trees to hibernate with well-soaked roots. Therefore, we are watering them. Planting pits are being prepared here for red maples or crimson century. A small team of about 10 people does the landing. They are doing their job carefully and quickly. It is very important that there are no stones in soil and that nothing is nearby. Then a tree will grow. I should say that the land is very fertile. So let the maple grow. We leave the autumn garden, but we'll come back here next spring. Fascinating stories about the nature of Kazakhstan, new meetings with interesting and enthusiastic people are waiting for us.